Greetings, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. And I'm sure you all have wonderful, happy, and grateful Thanksgiving with your family, friends. It's time to celebrate ourselves, what we have done so far, and what we are going to accomplish moving forward. And with that thought in mind, today's session, today's podcast, which I'm bringing in as part of the Lifecraft. And you all know that this whole Lifecraft podcast is about aiding me and you all into journey of achieving growth, success, and happiness, which we all aspire to. And we want to stay focused in that frame of mind so that we don't get distracted. And in the journey, what else we can pick it up along the way so that we accomplish to the strongest feeling of living fulfilled and meaningful life. Having said that, I'm really excited and very, very thankful to my dear friend, my sister, Shelia Malcolm. She is part of the podcast today. And thank you, Sheila, for being part of this session. And I really welcome you to talk about building mental fitness. And
yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. And more so, I would like to discuss on importance of it as part of building well-being, as continue our journey and facing challenges in our life, and achieving overall growth and success in life. So before I think I would like to take a few minutes, Shelia, to introduce you, because I think you have accomplished a lot since almost it is 7 to 10 years by the time we took different direction, changes in life, right? So, but I am really proud of what you are being into and where you are. So let me share something about you with our listeners, if you may.
Yes, go.
Sure, thank you. So, my dear listeners, meet Shelia Malcolm. She is a certified life coach from John Maxwell Leadership Team. She runs her own organization called Look Within Life Coaching, and she is a prominent, prevalent, passionate coach for all her clients. Most importantly, she focuses, and I think it's an earnest desire or calling to her as a woman in her clientele to find out the power within. In essence, being empowered, be inspired, and be resilient. Not to mention, she is an international best-selling author of her book, Free Me. And I would like to share in between, Sheila, whenever you get a chance to talk about it. It's such a wonderful book. I have read it, and it has really given me real insight and inspiration in all different areas where I want to go and lead my journey. It's like, it's a free me from me. Chains were meant to be broken. What a wonderful.
Indeed. So many times we think of chains, right? And chains bound us and it holds us in one place. But Rupa, the work that you and I are doing, we're telling people you can break those chains, whatever those chains are. And that's why we're having this conversation. Thank you for inviting me to your platform.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sheila. It's my pleasure, my honor, and my deepest gratitude for being with me here. So for first and foremost, I think with the topic of this mental fitness and being as a cornerstone or foundation of well-being, I know that you are big on building mental fitness as part of personal well-being. And I'm certain with you that in order to achieve and live a fulfilling life, it is important to handle our mental fitness, build it so that we can handle the ups and downs and challenges in life. Now, my first question would be, because I am following you and I'm really interested our listeners to know that what role of self-reflection play towards practicing mental fitness and helping in building well-being and overall lifestyle to help you navigate any of the crises along the way?
You know, that's a very good question, because self-reflection for me is huge, right? Because you and I, we're in the world where we're pushing, we're grinding, we're busy, we're doing this, we're doing that. And you cannot always just go. You got to slow down, and you got to, look at your wins and really celebrate right? So when you do self-reflection, or when I do self-reflection, is a time when I kind of either come aside in a little corner in my room in my little pink chair, and I would sit down with my little notebook and just start to think about, what have I done? What are those things that went well? What are those things that didn't go well? What are those things that I can learn from? Sometimes I up it a notch and I go by the water. I love the outdoors. That's where I get my energy from. And I really sit down and ask myself, where are you now? Where are you going? What impact do you want to have? And also look at the things that I did and learn from them, the mistakes that I made. That's huge for me. So in my reflection time, what comes up for me are the things that I did well, the things I need to work on, the things I need to change, and the things I need to just reach back and pat myself. Because here's the thing that I've learned. Not everybody's going to pat your back. And you got to be okay with giving yourself a little thumbs up and encourage yourself. So in the reflection time, it caused me to pause, intentional pause, to look at what's going on in my world. How am I showing up for my clients? How am I showing up for my family? How am I showing up for my friends? How am I showing up in the community? What are the footprints that I'm leaving? You know, and each and every day, something that I've learned, Rupak, somebody's always watching you.
Yes.
Even if you don't think so, somebody is. And so me knowing that, my self-reflection time allow me to really look outside the frame, you know?
Yes. Yes. No, I agree with you. And knowing that fact, somebody is always watching. And during that point, when we know how we want to show up in the better light, larger perspective, with a purpose and with a passion, I think self-reflection is the key to help us realign. And exactly what you said, looking outside the frame and think what can be done, what I have done so far, and what I can do. And I think you said it so well. And that is a key in building that mental fitness, because that opens up the room to bring in some of the aspects in triggering areas of taking actions, thinking in the right direction, positive in the direction what you want to go. So this is brilliant and beautiful. Thanks. Thank you so much.
Indeed. I just want to add one little caveat here. I don't know if you work out, Rupa, but I work out. I do a lot of hiking and walking, and I do it for my mental fitness, right? But here's the thing. A lot of people go to the gym and they work out, they get the big biceps and the six-pack, and they get everything, all the flab, they tighten up the little places that are jiggling, right? But people are intentional about doing that. But when it comes to building your mind, your mindset, a lot of people don't spend a lot of time in that. So this is why I'm ringing the gong. I'm shaking the bell. We've got to be mentally fit, man. Don't just go to the gym for your body. Go to the gym for your mind.
Awesome. And I think it's a mind-body connection. We have been always talking about it. We both are, I know we are big on it. It has to be mind-body. Otherwise, it's all waste.
Yeah.
So having said that, I think I want to talk about the very important point, because in all of this thing, I believe what you have been talking about, which I consistently work upon, is courage. Because it takes courage to be mentally fit. The converse, when it comes to gym, it takes that determination. Oh, I want to get, because it is outer world, like it is outer facing. I want to look good. I want to feel good, and I want young guy. Then it is other motivation, right? Mentally fit is taking a courage, because it is an inner work, right?
Yes.
If you are going to get mentally strong, you have to first decide, right? And what an intention what you talked about, right? That how you pull out that courage within to take those actions to be mentally fit. Can you share how you do that? What exactly role it plays, and how person can really use courage to become mentally fit in his journey of being emotional and mental well-being?
Yes, see, courage is another huge thing, right? And when you are courageous, that doesn't mean fear is not present. Fear is always present. I tell people all the time, if whatever it is you're doing, you're not a little scared, you're not a little bit afraid, you're not a little bit nervous, then maybe it's not big enough. Maybe it's not really where you need to be, because anything you're doing and any impact you want to have, you're going to feel a tinge of fear,
Yeah.
but you're going to push through. You're going to go through. You're going to do it anyway. I tell people all the time, I wasn't always this bold, but I had to learn to hold fear in one hand, but grab a hold of faith and listen, let faith go forward. And that's where my courage comes from. Being okay with failing, being okay with making a mistake, but learning from it. And that's how you build your courage, being okay to fail, because I believe in failing forward, right?
Yes.
So when you fail forward, you're saying, okay, this mess I've made, this my circumstances here, I'm not going to stand in it. I'm going to stand on it. And that's where your courage come in, for you to say, no matter what, I'm going to do it anyway.
And Shelia, I think you are going to be on me, or rather with me, that our first experience of facing courage was our Toastmasters.
Yes.
It was so gut-wrenching. We were having, we still push through, right? We want to make it happen and see how celebrating we came out of it, right? And the same thing applies, I think, in building the mental fitness as well. But the only difference is the other one is more physical. You know, output. Here, it is all inside and you're building it. So I think I can connect your theory, your perception, your message. I hope our listeners are getting this strong and ready to face it.
Yeah, it's so funny you brought up Toastmasters, because that's where we met, right? I remember my first speech. The paper was just shaking like a leaf, and I was standing there just trying to keep my act together. But over time, as I did it, I got less nervous, and the less the paper shook. And, you know, again, that's what we want the listeners to find out. Courage, it's not simple. It's not easy. It's just is. So you just have to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You got it. And I thank you for sharing. My second point, I think, again, it comes from what you have been sharing the message. And this applies in our today's Thanksgiving week, is gratitude.
Yes.
I am big on gratitude, because practicing gratitude, I think, is a first and foremost part of well-being. Because gratitude really helps to open your heart. It helps you to absorb, accept, and take everything as is, as you told earlier, right? My thing is, since you are so strong, so much promoting mental fitness, how gratitude goes above well-being and helps in focusing on building mental fitness.
I could talk about gratitude all day, all week, all year. So like you said, this is Thanksgiving season in the US. So one of the things that I do, and I've been doing it now since 2013, a new practice that I developed. On Thanksgiving Day, I do not go to sleep Thanksgiving night until I have written 100 things that I'm grateful for without repeating myself.
I think I'm going to take this on starting next Thanksgiving.
All right. That's a challenge. And the reason I have a gratitude journal, I write in my gratitude journal every day. Why is that helpful? It's important that you focus on the good things that have happened. If someone held the door for you, if someone gave you a compliment, if someone just smiled at you, be grateful for it and pay it forward. Gratitude is a good medicine. Gratitude gives you like an internal jogging, right? If you look at your inside and you see what's good and it comes out, how you treat people. I mean, I could talk about this all day, Rupert, because gratitude.
It's an universal antidote. Believe me.
It is.
Meaning people have talked about it, people have written about it, people have been talking on top of their voice. But if we can get that message clear in our system, and then work and do things, and at the end of the day or in the beginning of the day, if we are able to practice it, maybe in the mind, maybe in the written books, but as a habit, I believe, I personally, my well-being has played great impact through gratitude. But I think I can take a notch up in building mental fitness, like you said, because then it is truly revolutionary as we move forward. So I totally agree with you.
Whenever I'm stressed, again, I either find my little pink chair, go by the river, and I write. I would
Wow.
start focusing on those things, those good things. Sometimes I section it out. I may start with my family, or then my business, and then my relationship and my spiritual experiences. And I go in that, if I run out of ideas of what to write, I'm always tapping in to make sure that I'm grateful, because you know what? I'm here for a reason. You're here for a reason. And we have a destiny. We have purpose.
Yes.
And we
Yes.
have got to really zone in on that gratitude and be grateful, because when you're grateful, you get more. When you're grateful, things calm down. You see things differently. You
Yes.
see things clearer. I mean, I love this
You
topic of
talk
gratitude.
me about it. And I just because when you talked about seeing differently, before I talk a little bit on that, I really appreciate you sharing your way of practicing gratitude, because our listeners would love it, because a lot of times people get swayed in that. Practicing gratitude is one thing, but how do you do it? And you said it very nicely, that how do you do it? Like, you take time, you go out to the river and write down about your relationship, your family, your experiences, and just what thankful, because that is what exactly it is. You have to take time out, because then you go within and what you are thankful for, then the whole world changes. And talking about things differently, today morning itself, when I was in my morning run, because I was so much thankful to this nature ability for me to practice my running and everything, beautiful time. When I see upward and the beautiful birds chirping, I was so thankful that, and I was seeing it very different light. I never saw this sky, these trees in the same way. I think it was just because my heart was so thankful.
Yes. And that's it. When you start being grateful, your heart opens up to receive. So many people struggle with receiving, and receiving doesn't have to always be monetary. It could be love. It could be a kind word. It could be a smile. To your point, I love nature. And what I'm noticing for the past couple weeks, when I open my blinds in the morning, the sun come right in, and I just lift my hands and I'm like, I'm so grateful for the sun shining in my home and in my heart. I receive what my creator is giving me to get started for my day. So I just love this topic, Rupak.
I swear, I am really feeling so happy, and I would say very happy for you that you are able to wake up into the grateful heart, right, with the sunlight.
Yes.
Meaning that's the first thought you can be in that thankful state. And I think you're a blessed soul, as I have been always talking. So really happy to hear that. How beautiful you wake up, and that's such a beautiful thing. And you are able to do it so naturally. And I'm sure can all find some of those connecting points. It doesn't matter that every time sunlight has to come from your door. It could be anything where you can okay, as you get up, just a small breath you feel as you get up. I think that is the simplest form of gratitude. And
Indeed.
So I think we talked quite a bit of courage, gratitude, and self-reflection. And these are very, very strong and important topics. Now I want to tone a little bit down, and as I think we are coming also a little bit closer to our session, and we don't want to overload our listeners. But I think I'd like you to share a few thoughts and aspects around self-compassion and intention. Because these two things, I think everybody can practice on a daily basis, not along with other aspects, but these things can lead to the areas which can truly build your mental fitness. But can you relate self-compassion and intention to blend in for well-being and then take on the journey to the mental fitness?
Yeah, so self-compassion is so important. I remember there was a time that, negativity would come from my mouth so easily. And what I didn't learn and what I didn't know then was that anything we say after the word I am, that's what we're calling to ourselves. That's what we're saying we want more of. So if you're saying, I'm an idiot, I'm a loser, I'm no good, you're going to experience more behaviors around that. So I'm saying to people, have a little compassion with yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Speak the truth of what you want to experience. I'm strong, I'm capable, I'm loving, I'm kind, I'm beautiful. I am a rock star. Whatever it is you're feeling, say that about yourself, even if you're not there yet.
Wow.
If this is something
That's
you
huge.
want to experience, you and I have the power within us to call it forward. So when we have self-compassion, we are very careful about the words we say to ourselves quietly or out of our mouths. So we don't talk about ourselves in a third
Yes.
person and say she is, or, talk just about yourself negatively. You speak well of yourself, whether you're feeling it or not. You speak well of
Wow.
yourself.
That is,
Because here's the thing that I've learned. A lot of people have been beaten up emotionally and with words by friends, by their partner, by
yes.
a colleague, a teacher, a parent. And they have to undo that.
Yes, you have to remove and you have to create the new
There
neural
you go.
network. And it takes time, and only we are responsible for doing it. Nobody
That's
else.
right.
Nobody is going to help us do that.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody. So we have to know that we have the right, we have the power within us to
Yes.
speak to ourselves well, to speak to yourself as if you're speaking to your best friend.
Yes.
Speak to yourself with love. Speak to yourself with hope and encouragement.
Wow.
Talk to yourself. You
Wow.
can't depend on other people to do it for you. You have got to set that precedent. If you want people to say kind words to you, don't wait for it. Say it to you. And then
Absolutely.
all of a sudden you'll start noticing people saying it to you, because you're going to give up that vibration. You're going to,
Yes.
you're going to give that off, because you're going to walk with your shoulders high, your head up, because you know who you are. You're valuable. Tap into your value and your worth. We're worth it. When you know you're worth it, Rupa, you walk differently. You smile differently. You sit differently. You
Still,
walk in that room, and even though you think they're smarter than you, you walk in, I said, I belong here.
Shelia, I'm getting goosebumps as you're talking. It is hitting me so hard and clear in my heart. I hope and I'm sure our listeners are going to get the same. I cannot agree. I mean, I am fully with you that more as you are kind, intentional, compassionate, and the things, the way you talked about, that it is so important that you can talk to yourself.
Yes.
When you feel ourselves with that compassion, automatically that vibration is going to create a whole different university from where
Yep.
you are. You don't have to change physically. Suddenly, the shift happens.
Yes.
And you and me
Suddenly.
can talk about it, because we all, each of us have gone through a turmoil, all mentally, physically, and we have come out of it strong. And it's all due to all this aspect of self-compassion, intention,
Yep.
get it. And your promise, what you're delivering as you're talking, I'm sure listeners are going to grab it and hope they pick it out and take it next step towards building the mental fitness. So I guess I'm really thrilled having talking with you. I'm sure we can keep on going. There are in same topics and in multiple other areas also. I cannot stop, but in the virtue of time, I would just like to share few of your journey aspect. What message you would like to share as an overall, and leave it listeners so that they can truly embark on this journey for living a fulfilling life and a positive life.
Yeah. So thank you again for inviting me to your platform. And the important thing about mental fitness is that we will all go through something hard, something we have to overcome, but we have to be okay with feeling the pain, feeling the sting, and know that in that pain there is purpose. We can draw something. If we sit with that experience long enough, we ask, what are the lessons that I need to learn? Because here's the thing, if you continue to live, there's going to be other things up ahead that you're going to need the lessons from this experience to help you with that one. I've been through so much in my life. I've gone through divorce. I've gone through bankruptcy. I've gone through abortion when I was young and in college, and the choice that I made. And there was a time that I was afraid to talk about these things. But what I learned is what I had left. To look at myself and say, who have you become because of those experiences? And sit and wait for the answers, because the answers will come up. Because if you start realizing that that experience taught you something and you're honest with yourself and you can now pay it forward in helping somebody else that's going through something similar because you have now done the work, you're healed, and you now understand what those painful experiences taught you, that's building your mental fitness. Because life, as you continue to live, you will face challenges, but the challenges are not there to break you, they're there to make you.
That is so true. And that faith, that belief is what takes you move forward strongly. But you have to do the work. You have to put in the work. You
Yep.
have to do it for you. And that is what mental fitness and well-being is all about.
Yes.
Well, Cecilia, I am really grateful for you. It has been beautiful conversation.
As
I'm
are
so
you.
happy. I'm sure our viewers and listeners are going to love it. I will leave some of your mentions and places where they can connect with you when I
Yes.
share these videos
Mhm.
on the social media. And you may also do the same. That would be great. So thank you so much. And I will just take a pause and to give a thanks to listeners for joining in.
Mhm.
And so thank you again, Shelia. And listeners, I think please feel free to reach out to Shelia Malcolm. She's a wonderful person, and you will be totally feeling the grace once you connect with her. So thank you again, and I'll be coming back next month with another podcast to help build the journey of your life craft to have success, growth, and happiness as living your fulfilling and meaningful life. Thank you again.
Thank you.